quick mental health check-in, buddies. This is for everyone, anyone, no one who needs to hear this. I hope this message reaches you loud and clear. This is definitely for me as well as you. I want to talk a little bit about passion. And I don't know how long or how many vlogisodes this will be, but passion has had so many meanings over the years, and I feel like it's kind of had this transition, especially with this rhetoric of mental health and holding people accountable for toxic personalities, toxic characteristics that they excuse for being passionate, or that is highlighted as a form of toxic love. Just to kind of preface a little bit, my family is a passionate family. I am first generation, and like a lot of other first generation kids growing up in the blessed US of A, there's been a fine but also difficult balance of trying to integrate into American society with parents who come from different countries that have a lot of traditional beliefs that they are utilizing to raise their children in American culture and American society. And for a long time, there was always a bit of a clash, especially in my family, across my cousins and other family members trying to relate to their parents and their struggles and strifes, while also trying to relate to other Americans and trying to fit in and just belong. But my family was definitely a pillar of using passion as a means of discipline, as a means of excusing toxic love and toxic behavior. That rhetoric was very negative. Whenever we did something that required some type of discipline, there was always this passionate lecture that was very mentally and emotionally disparaging and detrimental. It was this kind of tear you down to build you up language that was used, this way of exasperating and almost trying to create, it was a way of trying to create loving yet disciplined, strict household of, if you could just get it together, if you could just understand how much we love you, and that's why we put these expectations and this pressure on you. And it was very damaging, because for me, especially being the oldest, I had to deal with a lot of unnecessary pressure and unrealistic expectations. And that's what it created. It was a lot of unrealistic expectations. It creates this fear of making mistakes. It creates this unwarranted lifestyle of needing to be perfect when the imperfections are the real triumphs and the real kind of trophies of creating a sustainable life. Truthfully, a lot of traditional norms and traditional methods of disciplining or lecturing don't really work in American society. And again, it creates a lot of boundaries and walls when kids are trying to grow up in this, free world and turn into adults, into independent adults who are confident, who are able to independently thrive. And as an adult, I will say that it's important to realize that certain tools such as therapy are very, very important. And not only that, but you need to be able to distinctly separate what your parents' trauma is from what your reality is and can be. It's difficult because a lot of times we harness that. And I'm sorry if I was rambling a bit earlier and kind of lost in thought. I'm on my way to the gym, so I'm a little scatterbrained. But it is very important to differentiate what your parents' trauma is from what your reality is. And that was something that took a lot of work for me because, again, that rhetoric that plays in your mind from your parents' fears of failure and their desperation to want to keep you safe and for you to be successful and well off, that can honestly be a hindrance and can create a lot of issues when you're trying to identify your own value and your self-worth. And so passion overall, to me, can be a very beautiful thing. But it's important to be passionate about yourself. And by that I mean learning who you are, growing outside of just what your family values may be, figuring out who you want to be in this world and how you can even influence and affect change within your own family. It's not something that I will recommend to task yourself to do, to try to influence or change your family. We're all going through our own unique individual experiences and we all have to respect that. But I do think that what's great about family and community is that we can all teach and learn from each other. The adults can learn from the kids can learn from adults, but there has to be an open and vulnerable, safe space where that kind of conversation can be had. And that's very difficult when people like my parents' generation are so passionate. Because when you are very passionate, you tend to be very demanding in having people see things your way versus being open to an exchange of dialogue, an exchange of perspectives. And that's something that I will say can be put aside until you have been able to, again, create your own self-identity. That's very important, to have your own identity. Outside of your family, outside of your friends, outside of your loved ones, you need to be really confident in who you are. And sometimes you have to rework some toxic tropes that you've been taught. And this is hopefully reaching those who come from, the strict, sheltered, first generation families where they're so passionate about their kids that They don't want them to have too many American friends, or they're so passionate about their kids that they just want them to study so viscerally that they have no time to, enjoy themselves and to socialize. They're so passionate about their kids that they're scared to listen to their children talk about their desires, their wants, and their needs outside of what they think is best for them. So journal, write down your thoughts, try to relate and find other like-minded kids or friends or young adults that can also understand and relate to where you've come from. And that helps. I will be getting in a good back day and a good chest day, and I hope you guys are doing well.